хүчндээд ингээд яргалаад тэгээд алаад ингээд махын нийцэн ингээд дэлхийд аяар шуугийлаад байгаа баячуудын нөгөө Эпштейний айландын хэргийг уушраад дундаас нь тэр дата дундаас нь ингээд элбэгд орж сайхан бэлгийн ингээд мэйлнүүд ингээд гарч ирж байгаа нэг боддоо та нар өөрсдөө бас ороод харчих болно. Энэ бол
манайх аюу хайлттай гэдэг ингээд гаргаад эхэллээ. За энэ дээр бол Монгол гэж одоо бараг л мянга дурддагдж байгаа юм арилаа. За элбэгдөрч энэ дурддагдлаа гэж байна. Батулгын нэр дурддагдлаа гэж байна. За ялангуяа батулгатай холбоотой тэр сонгуулийн үед янз бүрийн ингэж бараг рапорт маягийн өгөөд за эргээд яах вэ гэдэг санал зөвлөгөө асууж исэн маягтай имэйлүүд нэлээд гарч ирлээ. За би бүр ингээд Оросын талд байгаа, Орос манай талд байгаа гэж.
I was about to say that I may have been too late in this topic, but then I realized this is not over. Like, this thing should not just last for a month or two. Like, you and I have the right and duty to talk about how the people that we revere as those who literally just, like, decide our future are associated with this person and why. We need to keep talking, keep discussing, keep sharing new findings, and just making wave about this. We can't just let it die for real. But imagine my shock when it hit a little close to home. Among the mentions of many prolific figures that are associated with this high-profile secret society-esque scandal were the names of not one but two of our presidents. On February 4th, one of the most popular news websites here in Mongolia, the icon.mn, dropped a bombshell of a headline. It was about how two of our presidents had been in contact with the infamous New York financier. And I was like, but then right off the bat, I was not inclined to think that the reason for contact was regarding the island, because as far as I have vibe read, they're just not big enough to be invited. It's not like I'm putting those people who went to the island on like a pedestal, but just listen to the names of the alleged guests to the island. The current president of the United States, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Stephen Hawking, and then add on to that list two random presidents from an insignificant country who has no power to wield in a beneficial way, even if they were caught in a vulnerable situation which can be used to blackmail them later. I don't think so. But still, it's alarming to think that now convicted dead criminal whose crimes are still incredibly grotesque, even as a rumor had his eyes on my country for some reason. And what reason, you might ask? I'll show you. 2013 is the furthest back in time the contact between Epstein and someone in Mongolia goes. In that year, then president of Mongolia, Ilbegdorj Tsakha, aka Ebit Necklace, attended the United Nations 16th Commission and was in New York. And he used that opportunity in time and space to meet people who he deemed were powerful, and one of them was Jeffrey Epstein. Would you mind if I just call him Jepstein, because I don't want to say his name, he's just kind of annoying. And he even may have had dinner with Jepstein along with many other people, and the contents of any of these encounters are just not in detail for me to find in Gmail, but according to this email I found, it was apparently about financial advice. I mean, after all, he was the New York financier at that time. And 2014, Epstein gets invited by Purufsurung Lunduk, then Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, and it's not clear whether he exactly, landed here, but just thinking of the possibility of him being interested in Mongolia, just because how crazily sparse the country is, so that he can, buy a mountain and committed debauchery there, just sends a very creepy shivers down my spine. And around 2017, a man named Rambat Chulongho came into the picture, and he would be a very crucial piece of this whole debacle between Mongolia and Epstein. He had been in touch with him since 2013 under three main bases. First, money. Well, not money, just the crypto thing. Well, shut up. Larry H. Summers agrees with me, okay? Doesn't pay the bills. Epstein was looking into launching a sovereign state-backed coin, otherwise known as CDBC or whatever, and he wanted to call it, get this, Chinggis coin. And Kambat was receiving a reading list and suggestions and directions as to what to do next and all of that. Imagine writing a haiku-level email and then receiving this from him. Kambat, he was such a butt licker. Dear Jeffrey, thank you for who you are. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Best regards, Kambat. And then Jeffrey says, and you. Comes 2017, and that year was the presidential election year in Mongolia, and this time Epstein is still in touch with Kambat, but on a more impactful basis, the presidential election. But he has switched sides by supporting the opponent of his old Mongolian friend this time, Battol Kaltma, whose qualifications include that of professional Mongolian wrestler going in a presidential election. In his emails to Epstein, Kambat was updating and sending live results of the election. Granted, it was, a live going on in a social media and probably was just search away. And later on, he also passed the gratitude of then newly elected president to Epstein, saying, "Thank you for your support. It's been an uneasy fight against the mafia state. Now the work begins. We would need all your continued support." And that he was, quote, working on the Russian side. What the does that mean? I guess it means what it supposedly means. He was working for Russia and not Mongolia or its interest. I don't know, he's such an example of an opportunist face who's from a developing country and can't speak English, but only uses it to help powerful faces to exploit their own country. I mean, he looks the part. And in return for helping and supporting, Battolak Epstein does not want money, and probably we don't think we had the money, but just a simple favor of giving Miss Redacted a job. Not just a simple job, but in a renewable energy sector and also in a government official position. It's email between Kambat and Jeffrey Epstein, and I assume the president will come to the United Nations in September. We can begin then. Yes, he will. Before that, you and I need to do some prep work. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help. I don't want any money. I find it a challenge. The only favor in return is the Redacted to have a job in renewable water and energy sector. Such a crazy emails. I don't care if it's UN case. Jeffrey is known to be such a bad typer, but I understand it as I don't care if it's US based, Mongolia based. I'm happy to pay for her salary. Mongolian digital currency, it will get a lot of attention and bring excitement. That he's referring to the Chinggis coin that I previously talked about. Kambat later on sent email to Jeffrey saying, "Sorry for the radio silence, but Tolok is going through establishing his administration. Our team on the ground has been instrumental in this organization structure process. There will be independent think tank that would assist the strategic studies and policy recommendation like CSIS and Brookings here. Our team will be the main people there too. So though if Redacted is willing to relocate in Mongolia, we could still structure that she gets employed with our company and through it have a front row seat to watch show, bitch, with you supporting her financially. Redacted is coming to the Columbia Business School around August 15th. Redacted could sublease her place if she likes. Let me know what you think. I have reached out to her asking whether she would consider relocating, to which she said yes. And I asked her if she would consider working in our company as I were above. And then Jeffrey sent an email back to Kambat. "Sounds great. Can she get an official government invitation, or is that difficult? Equals C2? I don't know. I would like her to apply for travel docs. Hi Jeffrey, trust all is well. Met with yesterday. We discussed that it might be good for her to spend a couple of weeks in UB to get a feel of what it's like. Guessing that she would talk to you and let me know when she'll be traveling. I will arrange my team on the ground to meet and get settled. Our office is in Shangri-La office complex, so if you're agreeable, okay, she could stay in Shangri-La Hotel, and there are other good hotels nearby, best G." So they're just trying to get this person to get situated here in Mongolia and start working in the government in renewable energy sector. That's just fucking crazy. It's alarming to say the least. Epstein must have supported Battolak in a very substantial way for him to ask someone to be planted in such an important and public sector of a different country. This person, it turns out it's a she, her name is Redacted. So even if we wanted to track that person down and just do some digging, we can't really find that person unless they ask me. So sneaky is the word that this person is calling Jepstein in the emails that was sent ranging from 2013 to 2017. That is the year that she was to relocate to Mongolia. And I thought that is some lead right there. So I searched the word sneaky in Gmail, and there are a plethora of emails regarding business and pleasure that Jepstein and this mysterious plant of his exchanged between them. And as you probably know, that there are many duplicates in the Gmail platforms that are of the same email, and sometimes some of them fail to hide the treasure. Renat. When I first found this word, I searched it on Google but could not find anything relating to Jepstein. It was some software or something like that. So I chucked it up to the Gmail platform lagging, or it's just like being another mumbo jumbo created when the original creator of the platform pulled the information from DOJ website. But I came across this exact word, Renat, Renata, in different forms. 2 more times, with the latest being sent from Mr. Porufsurunlundik, aforementioned foreign affairs minister of Mongolia, talking about how she wanted to work in Asia. So it turns out I can't turn a blind eye on it. I have to call in the professionals. So I searched it again on Google, Sneaky and Renata, and the professionals answered my call. It's a Reddit thread. Can you believe this? They found this person about 20 days prior to my research. And that person who's most likely to have been hired in return for a favor is this person called Renata Bolotova, Siberian of origin, now working as a research assistant in Shared Waters Lab. And it's actually very interesting to see that everyone working in this project is smiling. Look at their pictures. And then this girl is giving a Slavic stare to a T. I don't know, she looks like a criminal to me. No, I'm just kidding, but I can't really believe that she is Buryatian of origin. Buryat is it's a former Mongolian tribe. That's fucking crazy to think about. How did you end up getting into this whole debacle, my man? Anyways, there's Elliot. But I'm not going to share this with the government. I don't think they are really interested in this, or they're already onto this one. Another person that Rambat was dealing with is Ehud Mobarak, and they were talking about some cybersecurity deal, which to my knowledge did not become a thing. And that guy was from Israeli, so we never know. Another interesting point of contact among this exchange were Larry H. Summers, a former Secretary of Treasuries of the United States. Apparently we were begging him to drop by Mongolia and consult us. Here's Lawrence's email. Someone approached me on their behalf looking for advice. They're apparently in a financial trouble, squeezed by China, etc. No idea if I can or want to help them, but wondered if they are in a good or bad, or I suspect neutral graces of USA. One thing to point out about him is how smug he sounds in this email, talking about some Mongolia being in the neutral graces of the United States. Only neutral graces that we need to aspire to is from China and Russia. Know your place, okay? No, I'm kidding. We love you, America. Make America great again. I love you. We love you. What mind-blowing advice can he give? I could bet $25 that he would have said something along the lines of, I don't know, fucking save your money and cut the cost and diversify your export to China and US good. What else is there to know? Then came 2019 and the end of Jepstein that we all know of came, and all of this got swept under the rug until this year. And most people here in Mongolia had their say about the situation on the internet. I'm gonna show you some comments. It says Batullag the thief, Ilbig Dorch the shit. They always get connected to everything bad. Nicholas fuckface. I hope they die and disappear. They probably sold top secrets of the country. Ilchik Dorch, which is a play on the president's name. They are basically changing his name to Jackass because his name can easily be changed into the word for donkey in Mongolia. So traitors of the country, da 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 da. They're talking about how they are committing cannibalism and how could the presidents of our country meet such people, da 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 da. So Like, yeah, everyone is not really happy about this news. And I found this sentiment among the people, oh, we're now in the big games, we're in the big league, and just because we got mingled with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, it's such a convoluted way of seeing the whole thing. Like, how the would we be in the big league when we're trying to negotiate Larry Summers' daily fee for him to come and speak? Also, by 2013, which is the earliest of our contact with him goes, it was so unanimously clear that he was a convicted sex offender and a solicitor of underage people's prostitution, an overall disgusting person with a questionable past at best. And us trying to appease him by, inviting him to the country, keeping in constant contact with him, sending him season's greetings is just beyond me. It shows that all the crime that he committed means nothing. Well, I mean, the USA had forgotten everything, and things just kept on going like nothing happened. So who are we to become a moral police for another big imperialist country, right? This connection with Epstein shows not that we are finally becoming a player in the big league, whatever that means, but it just shows how far his arena of influence stretched, and that, I can't believe I'm saying this, it looks like the president, Abiy, was doing what he knew best, hoping he can get help from those people who were gatekeeping a development of a third world country. 28 is the number of kids that the president adopted, and they are not traceable at the moment. And at the time of the adoption, they were all teens and twins, and this was an alarming thing to know and alarming thing to come across whilst doing research. But recently, Mr. Ilbukdorj himself issued an official update regarding them, but he just said they're all doing fine, but we have no way of knowing or even the desire to really track them down, and unless that information is publicly available, we have no right to really we have no right to really track them down or push them to really rule themselves, because they have a right to their own anonymity. And there are still very serious loose ends that beg questions like, where is Kambat? What does him working on the Russian side exactly mean? How did it look like? And has that been replicated? What does that mean about the succeeding elections? And who was the person sent by Epstein, which we pretty much know who she is, but what did she report back? And will us Mongolians try to open investigation on this? And as far as I know, we have not, and I'm not sure if we are going to. But that's all for today. I'm following the Epstein story as closely as I can, but it's just sometimes more really overwhelming and mind-boggling to think about what potentially might have been happening. But one thing is very clear, for Epstein, it's not about business or pleasure. It's both in a very corrupted way. And I hope we, especially the victims, dead or alive, see justice one day.